gach duine is mise ar an Éileán agus fáilte romh go dtí Nollaig nGuaire. Tá mar chun éiste le daoine óga agus sean ag insint ascéaltaí Nollaig trí áráníocht, ceol, scéaltaí agus filiocht, agus crack. Tásúla gom go taitneoigh sé libh. Hello everyone, I'm Erin Éileán and welcome to Nollaig nGuaire radio programme. We are going to hear from young and old telling us their Christmas stories through song, music, poetry, storytelling and lots of laughs. We hope you all enjoy. Introducing the music throughout the programme will be Rachel Níl. We're some of the members of the Kilmacree Singing Club. We're going to share a few Christmas pieces with you. Hope you enjoy. The Kerry Christmas Carol. Brush the floor and clean the hearth and set the fire to keep. For they might visit us tonight when all the world's asleep. Leave out the bread and meat for them and sweet milk for the child. And they will bless the fire that baked and too the hands that toiled. For Joseph will be travel-tired and Mary pale and wan. And they can sleep a little while before they journey on. They will be weary of the roads and rest will comfort them, for it must be many a lonely mile from here to Bethlehem. Don't blow the tall white candle out, but leave it burning bright, so that they know they're welcome here. This holy Christmas night, so that they know they're welcome here. This holy Christmas night.
It's great to have Colin Brennan with us here today. Dig with Colin. Conas Hatu.
Bagat. Brava and Shaw.
I understand you're going to share with us a lovely poem that you penned yourself called The Visitors.
A poem I wrote some years ago. It's based on some woodcuts and sculpture I did of wild geese, but also it's linked to a yarn I heard from the south of the county. The poem is called Visitors. The gyre and swell of Barnacle and Brent, 10,000 graze while Wexford celebrates. A Christmas bounty, wild goose made the feast. They slurp on sloblands, ferret out the roots. They journey down from Greenland's frozen fjords, while others from Siberia's ice-scarred steppes. The flash of crimson when they wheel in flight, lone snow goose, plimsoll pink from mouldy bread. They came 2 winters past, our last big snow. He heard the gaggle call, looked at the date. They're just a day behind, but now we're home. Familiar scent, Visa Fjord strikes the pate. They dip and keel, peel off, no grass below. 2,000 miles in vain, no pastures green. Pat Bulger hears again their reel and peal of wings and wind and windpipe, call he knows. He tractors through the blizzard, scrapes at snow. The green revealed entices them to land. He rests well there's another winter wrong. His kids are all back home till spring has sprung.
We're delighted to have the Gorey's very own Mark Redmond here with us today. Good morning, Mark.
Morning, Rachel.
How are you?
Grand, and yourself?
Great. I understand you're going to play the lovely Wexford Carol na Nollaig for us today.
Yeah. When you asked me to do it, the first thing I was thinking of, uilleann pipes or even Irish music and Christmas music. There's not exactly a whole range of music to pick from. There is quite a bit, but again, they're generally voice, so there's not much we can do on uilleann pipes. The most obvious example, for many reasons, is the Wexford. I was going to say the Wexford horn pipe, the Wexford Carol, or the Enniscorthy Carol for the real purists. But it sounds well on the pipes. It's not ideal either because it uses an awful lot of the chromatic notes, and unless you had a full chromatic chanter, you kind of wouldn't get away with it. So with that in mind, it's probably not exactly traditional music or traditional singing as we would associate it generally with the wider repertoire. So I would imagine it's more sort of European influence than any kind of. That's just my own opinion, but I could be wrong. But I'd imagine it's more influence from European songs as opposed to from general traditional Shona songs.
Right.
But yeah, that's the most obvious example I could think of. I live here, and it's kind of something I've been playing for years. And it was either that or Jingle Bells.
Okay. Well, we're dying to hear it. So in your own time, Mark.
Grand, yeah.
We're delighted to have Bríd Cleric with us here today. Diagwit, Bríd.
Yes, very good.
Kusatu.
Come on.
Intak. I understand you're going to share a beautiful Christmas poem with us today by Moira Macanty called Ihe Nollaig.
Ihe Nollaig. Le Queenlan an Angle tá spare a mi bracha, tá fiacal an tiacha sa grí onganach. Adig an tinna is teir con na lapa, líhig mach day in san seach seo anocht. The candles of the angels sprinkle in the sky outside. The teeth of the frost come with the wind from the hill. Let ye all rake up the fire now and get into bed, and God's Son will go to sleep in this house tonight. Fógig an doras latha in a cuine. An bhaid in a hiúcig is a ní a hocht. Dionig de chuivnes a ligan a bhuire. Líhig mach day in san teach seo anocht. Leave the door wide open for her too. The Virgin is coming, with her baby on her breast. Come on in, sure, and have a rest for yourself now, Mary, and let God's Son go to sleep in this house tonight. Bhí sílse lasa I deach sin na hiachta, chorú gan chvíle, bia agus deach. De ceannacha ola, de ceannacha siada, ach líhig mach day in san seach seo anocht. The lamps were all lighting in that hospitable inn. Without stint was the food, without stint was the drink. For the traders in wool, for the traders in silk. But God's Son is going to sleep in this house tonight.
When cereal for 18 pence. The only tune that I could play was over the hills and very far away. So early in the morning, so early in the morning, so early in the morning, before the break of day. Ahem, ahem, me mother's gone to church. She told me not to play with you because you're in the dirt. It isn't because you're dirty, it isn't because you're clean, it's because you have the whooping cough and eat margarine.
Hey guys, what are you getting for Christmas?
We're getting nothing for Christmas.
Nothing?
Mommy and Daddy are mad.
What did you do?
We're getting nothing for Christmas.
Nothing?
'Cause we have been nothing but bad. We're getting nothing for Christmas. Mommy and Daddy are mad. We're getting nothing for Christmas. 'Cause we have been nothing but bad.
Reprezentujemy polską społeczność żyjącą w Gorey i zaśpiewamy dla Państwa tradycyjną polską kolędę Przybieżeli do Betlejem. Życzymy wesołych świąt. We are representing Polish community living in Gorey and we'd like to sing Polish carol called Przybieżeli do Betlejem. Merry Christmas.
Przybieżeli do Betlejem pasterze, grają skocznie dzieciąteczku na lirze. Chwała na wysokości, a pokój na ziemi. Chwała na wysokości, a pokój na ziemi. Oddawali swe ukłony w pokorze, Tobie serca ochotnego, o Boże. Chwała na wysokości, a pokój na ziemi. Chwała na wysokości, a pokój na ziemi. Anioł Pański sam ogłosił te dziwy, których oni nie słyszeli jak żywi. Chwała na wysokości, a pokój na ziemi. Chwała na wysokości, a pokój na ziemi.
My name is Swetha Wickamratna and I am here with my sister Senari Karna. We are singing a traditional Sri Lankan song called Kalakata Pera. Kalakata Pera e Bethlehem, Shudu Nagare, Jesu Melawata Bihune, Punchi Gau Madue. Kalakata Pera e Bethlehem, Shudu Nagare, Jesu Melawata Bihune, Punchi Gau Madue. Uduat maase Sitala Davasaka Mediam Rayame. Deu mauterule unusamalabin me loketa ave. Sitala sulane relle davasata hamadi seta unne. Tuppat ederu me baba dengen gawala me riyamne. Jesu melawata bihune punchi gawa madue.
Next we have Mick Doyle with us here today, and it's lovely to have you, Mick. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
That's great. I hear you're going to share with us a beautiful song called The Boys of Barnashroida.
I am. It's a Christmas song from the County Kerry, from the town of Cahersiveen, by Sigerson Clifford, who became very famous in Irish literature and poetry in his lifetime.
Brilliant.
But this was his reminiscence of Christmas in Barnashroida, or the top of the street. The town that climbs the mountain and looks out on the sea. In waking time or sleeping, it's there I long to be. To walk again those kindly streets the place where life began, with the boys from Barnesroide, who were hunting for the ran. With cudgel stout we roamed about, for to hunt the brave droleen. We searched for birds in every furze, from Litter to Duneen. We danced for joy beneath the sky, life held no print or plan. For the boys of Barnesroide, who were hunting for the ran. And when the hills were bleeding, and the rifles were aflame, into the rebel Kerry homes the Saxon strangers came. The men who dared the Ogsies and who fought the black and tan were the boys from Barnesroide, who were hunting for the ran. But now they toil on foreign soil, where they have made their way, deep in the heart of London town and over on Broadway. And I am left to sing their deeds and praise them while I can. Those boys of Barnesroide, who were hunting for the ran. Now here's a health to them tonight, wherever they may be, by the shores of Cartham River or the slopes of Binnatee. John Daly and Bat Andy and the Sheens, Con and Dan, they're the boys from Barnesroide, who were hunting for the ran. And when the wheel of life runs out and peace comes over me, just lay me down in that old town between the hill and sea. I'll take my rest in those green fields, the place where life began, with the boys from Barnesroide, who were hunting for the ran.
In Ireland, on St. Stephen's Day, the day after Christmas, the wren bird was cheered. A wren was captured and carried from house to house by the wren boys to collect money for a dance to be held later in the town. This tradition has nearly disappeared, but the tradition of going from house to house on St. Stephen's Day has survived and is very much a part of Christmas. Here are one woman's memories of celebrating the wren on St. Stephen's Day as a child. The Christmas scene in our house of warm fires, delicious things to eat, new jumpers and caps to wear, and stockingfuls of surprises from Santa were interrupted by the visitors, the wren boys. Up the yard they came with great racket and clamour. They often had music, maybe a tin whistle or fiddle. They wore shabby old jackets and coats with bits of tinsel trailing their outfits. They often had some sort of face paint on, and they carried little holly bushes decorated with rags and coloured paper. They loudly sang their song of the day. The wren, the king of all birds, on Stephen's Day was caught in the furze. Although he was little, his honour was great. Jump up, me lads, and give us a trait.
We are now going to sing a song called Caroo Caroo, Carol of the Birds to cheer the wren. We hope you enjoy it.
Oh, many a bird did wake and fly, caroo, caroo, caroo. Full many a bird did wake and fly to the manger bed with a wandering cry on Christmas Day in the morning. Caroo, 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 caroo. The lark, the dove, the redbird came. Caroo, caroo, caroo. The lark, the dove, the redbird came, and he did sing in sweet Jesus' name on Christmas Day in the morning. Caroo, 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 caroo.
We have Colin Brennan with us again. Hi, Colin. Good to talk to.
Yeah.
I understand you're going to share with us the beautiful Wexford Carol.
Yes, the Wexford Carol. Of course, there are a number of carols connected with Wexford. Sometimes this one is called the Enniscorthy Carol as well. But the important thing is they've been sung in Wexford, particularly South Wexford, for many hundreds of years. And Christmas Eve in Kilmore Church, there's always a choir there that have sung this down the generations. And Wexford, I suppose, is so lucky to have carols connected directly with their own county.
Absolutely. Well, in your own time, Caroo Loch Gorman.
Good people all, this Christmas time, consider well and bear in mind what our good God for us has done in sending his beloved Son. With Mary holy we should pray to God with love this Christmas day. In Bethlehem upon that morn there was a blessed Messiah born. The night before that happy tide, the noble Virgin and her guide were long time seeking up and down to find a lodging in the town. But mark how all things come to pass, from every door repelled, alas, as long foretold, their refuge all was but a humble ox's stall. There were 3 wise men from afar, directed by a glorious star, and on they wandered night and day until they came where Jesus lay. And when they came unto that place where our beloved Messiah was, they humbly cast them at his feet with gifts of gold and incense sweet. Near Bethlehem did shepherds keep their flocks of lamb and feeding sheep, to whom God's angels did appear, which put the shepherds in great fear. Prepare and go, the angel said, to Bethlehem. Be not afraid, for there you'll find this happy morn a princely babe, sweet Jesus born. With thankful heart and joyful mind, the shepherds went the babe to find. And all God's angels had foretold, they did our Saviour Christ behold. Within a manger he was laid, and by his side the Virgin Maid, attending to the Lord of life, who came on earth to end all strife.
It's great to have Caoimhe Radford from CC Tushkat Loch Gorman here with us today. She's going to play a beautiful piece on the concertina, O Christmas Tree. And now we will have Angus Laverty from Gorey sharing a lovely Christmas poem with us.
Reflections on Christmas by Johnny Cunningham. The dark of winter wraps around us tight. The lamps are fired and flickering light beats time to the fiddle as notes float softly down like the year's first snow. While outside the window a blast of late December wind whistles harmony to the drone of the pipes. We push the old year back against the wall so we can dance a jig for Christmas and welcome in the new.
We're delighted to have Brona Ní Cnéalaigh with us here today. Hi Brona, can satatu?
Táimid go maith.
Oh, ítach. I hear you're going to share two beautiful poems with us today. One in Stabla in Mehel and the other that was penned by your late mum, Agnes. We're delighted that you're going to share that. I'm really looking forward to hearing it. So, in your own time.
I Stabla in Mehel. I Stabla in Mehel, Moncher Shinta. Vilanov even, Cookta in Adi Bana. Gan chas gan Diden, O Uocht na hiha aun. Akanal quera, Asal is Dav. Rina riha, Vi sa Moncher Shinta. Mwira na hoiha. Bia waher, Banacht na disha. Der Hiach agus Dini, Nollaig Even agat, Séanas áthas. Amen. Christmas poem in a stable in Bethlehem. Lying in a manger, there was a beautiful baby, bound in white clothes. there without heat, without shelter, from the cold of the night, except for the breath of a sheep, an ass and an ox. It was the King of Kings that lay in the manger, the Virgin Mary, she was his mother. The blessings of the pair on your house and people. A delightful Christmas to you, happiness and joy. Amen. A winter poem by Agnes Keneally. Nature in her dusky overcoat casts shadows on the surrounding landscape, the enfolding beauty peeping through the mist, pushing out against the gloom of winter, plunging the hills into moving shadows of purple and blue, sitting quietly in the quietness of nature, where nothing stirs, staring at the roving sky, the pale light penetrates the darkness as evening draws to a close.
The snow lies white. The snow lies white on roof and tree. Frost fairies creep about. The world's as still as it can be, and Santa Claus is out. He's making haste his gifts to leave, while the stars show his way. There'll soon be no more Christmas Eve. Tomorrow's Christmas Day.
Frosty the snowman was a jolly happy soul, with a corncob pipe and a button nose and 2 eyes made out of coal. Frosty the snowman was a fairy tale, they say. He was made of snow, but the children know that he came to life one day. Oh, Boolabus, 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 Galare. Saw Daddy Nan, Nollaig Shona Daoibh, and his son Shimalair. Oh, Boolabus, 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 Galare. Saw Daddy Nan, Nollaig Shona Daoibh, and his son Shimalair. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Next, we have Christy Doyle with us today. Hi, Christy. Can I start too?
Very good. Come on.
I hear you're going to share with us some beautiful poetry by Patrick Kavanagh, A Childhood Christmas.
One side of the potato pits was white with frost. How wonderful that was, how wonderful. And when we put our ears to the paling post, the music that came out was magical. The light between the ricks of hay and straw was a hole in heaven's gable. An apple tree with its December glinting fruit we saw. Oh, you, Eve, were the world that tempted me to eat the knowledge that grew in clay, and death the germ within it. Now and then I can remember something of the gay garden that was childhood's again. The tracks of cattle to a drinking place, a green stone lying sideways in a ditch, or any common sight, the transfigured face of a beauty that the world did not touch. My father played the melodeon outside at our gate. There were stars in the morning east, and they danced to his music. Across the wild bogs his melodeon called to Lennons and Callans. As I pulled on my trousers in a hurry, I knew some strange thing had happened. Outside in the cowhouse my mother made the music of milking. The light of her stable lamp was a star, and the frost of Bethlehem made it twinkle. A water hen screeched in the bog. Mass-going feet crunched the wafer ice on the potholes. Somebody wistfully twisted the bellows wheel. My child poet picked out the letters on the grey stone in silver, the wonder of a Christmas townland, the winking glitter of a frosty dawn. Cassiopeia was over Cassidy's hanging hill. I looked and 3 wind bushes rode across the horizon, the 3 wise kings. An old man passing said, "Can't he make it talk?" The melodeon. I hid in the doorway and tightened the belt on my box-pleated coat. I nicked 6 nicks on the doorpost with my penknife's big blade. There was a little one for cutting tobacco, and I was 6 Christmases of age. My father played the melodeon, my mother milked the cows, and I had a prayer like a white rose pinned on the Virgin Mary's blouse.
We're delighted to have Trish Quinn with us here today, and Trish is going to share with us a beautiful piece called Christmas Past. I think it's going to evoke a lot of lovely memories for the people of Gorey. Hi Trish, you're very welcome.
Hi Rachel, thank you for having me.
Could you tell us a little bit about who wrote it or where it originated from?
It's a poem about growing up in Gorey, being a child at Christmas time in Gorey, and it was written by a girl called Kathy Hogan, who was formerly Kathy Dorn. She lived in Gorey as a child, and it's about her childhood memories when some little people in her life asked her what was it like living in Gorey at Christmas.
That's lovely. We're dying to hear it. So in your own time, Trish. Thank you.
The excitement would start on December the 8th as we'd stand in the cold and anxiously wait for the arrival of Santa. When he was near we could tell by the sound in the distance of his Christmas bell. He'd bring his post boxes to leave on the street and walk through the crowds for the children to greet. There were no Santa villages or big Christmas trains, but it was pure magic back then for us just the same. We'd post our letters and hope for the best, that ours might be chosen from all of the rest. There was nothing that filled our hearts with more joy than getting from Santa a shiny new toy. The shops were all done up with tinsel and lights. I loved to look in the windows so bright, and Lacey's nodding Santa was surely the best. His answer to all of our questions was yes. My favourite shop to look through and explore was Michael Doran's. He had nice things galore. And the Miss Lambert's was where our annuals we'd get. Mum would send them to Santa in case he'd forget. I remember the turkey market too on John Street, and Mace on the corner had shelves full of treats. Our kitchen was busy as Mam used to make, for family and friends, Christmas puddings and cakes. The concerned Christmas fasters each year would gather under Cook's Arcade in all kinds of weather. One of the things I loved most of all was the Christmas bazaar in the theatre hall. I have lots more memories, too many to share. When a heartbeat I can be back there. Christmas was simpler, I know that's true, but it's the people you love who make Christmas for you. I'm glad for my memories, but they make my heart sore, as they remind me of those who have gone before. But I'm certain that they will celebrate up above and send me Christmas blessings and gifts full of love.
It's great to have James Doran with us here today in Gorey School of Art. Hi James, how are you?
Very well, thanks.
It's great to have you. I understand you have a piece you want to share with us today that you penned yourself with your family, and it's really something that I'm dying for everybody to hear. It's called Christmas in Gorey Town. Whenever you're ready, James, we'd love to hear it.
With the weather getting colder and winter drawing near, it's the magic time of Christmas and the season of good cheer. Preparations, they are underway in the country and in town, and children wondering what they'll get when Santa Claus comes round. The turkeys, geese and stately pig get as much as they can eat, and decisions don't come easy to the buyers buying meat. As I walk down this busy street, I think of days gone by. It brings me back fond memories to when I was a boy. Though that was many years ago, I think about it still. The magic view of Gorey as you venture down the hill. With the hustle and the bustle and the life upon the street, with shop fronts bright with coloured lights, as we tried to sort our wreath. There were stalls on every corner with things to wear and eat. The sellers trying to catch your eye, clapped hands and stamped their feet. Health and safety was not an issue then. 'Twas way back before EU. And turkeys that the farmer sold were weighed in paddy blues. The farmers, they're a crafty crew. That's how they live their life. But when you want a turkey, they'll send you to the wife. And so she sold the turkeys when she felt the price was right. And the family reaped the benefits when it came to Christmas night. But that's the way it was back then. Sure, times were hard and tough. We never had leftovers, but we always had enough. And so with Christmas Eve drawing near, there's so much still to do. The housewives up to 90, the households in a stew. Now we always think of Christmas as the season of good cheer, but for some it can be lonely when not all the family's near. So if you know somebody or someone has passed away, please nod your head or shake their hand to help them on their way. Or maybe you could send a card to an old friend far away. Aye, and don't forget that calls are free when it comes to Christmas Day. Now with all this talk of celebration, please let us not forget to say, and remember when you're on your knees, whose birthday is today. So now it's time to finish, and I hope you liked my story about when it comes to Christmas time. For me, it's always Gorey.
We're delighted to have Erin Yalon and Cullen O'Fuelan, brother and sister from the Ceol Macree Singing Club and CC Tushkartlach Garman, with us today. They're going to share with us a beautiful song called Dia Dovaha. So in your own time, guys, really looking forward to hearing it.
I heard the bells on Christmas Day, their old familiar carols play, and wild and sweet the words repeat of peace on earth, goodwill to men.
Sa star bla bla
In a little pub in London, Moriarty drank his beer and told of the wondrous stories of his exploits far and near. Sing an Irish song, said Kelly, best of order one and all, and Moriarty sang for them the hills of Donegal. They cheered him at the finish and called for encore, encore, and Moriarty said, listen lads, I can't sing any more. As he stood there in silence and gazed into his beer, and in his eye did glisten the starting of a tear. Are you going home for Christmas? The kindly barmaid said, and Moriarty fixed his gaze on her and slowly shook his head. Sure, I haven't been to Ireland now this 20 years or more. My poor mother would hardly know me if I walked up to the door. I was born, said Moriarty, on a little island in the west, the last place God created, but the first place that he blessed. We were poor, we were happy in our simple little way. Oh God, I wish I was a boy again to live my youthful way. My father, God be good to him, was drowned one woeful night, and my mother left so lonesome for myself to work and fight. With Donnaroo McCarthy and young Michael O'Shea, I came across to England to earn an honest pay. I told my dear old mother I'd be soon back again, but the cursed drink came over me and enslaved me in its chain. Sure, I haven't been to Ireland now this 20 years or more, but I know she's still waiting for my footsteps at the door. Then somebody started to sing, I see you miss the winter snow, like old bells ringing far and away and long ago. Moriarty stood and listened, then pushed the glass away, and he made a solemn promise that he'd go home for Christmas Day. He saved every penny he could get into his hand, and coming up to Christmas, he sailed for Ireland. His heart was filled with gladness, he felt contentment at last, as the train rolled through the Midlands that brought him to the west. In the village of Kilsheela that night upon the shore, far across the deep blue waters, he saw his island home once more. Sure, the stars were shining brightly, they glistened like a dome on that little whitewashed cottage that was Moriarty's home. It's a grand night for the sailing, said the boatman Thomas Bawn, but Moriarty didn't know him, he'd been away so long. As he climbed into the bodine, the boatman heard him say, thank God in heaven, I'll be home for Christmas Day. But in a little room in London, Moriarty's poor abode, on a table in a hallway, a message read untold. The message read, Dear Danny, your poor mother has passed away. She'll be buried in Kilsheela after Mass on Christmas Day.
And that was Seamus Shields with a beautiful recitation called The Little Pub in London. And now we're going to listen to Sinead Tobin and her great musicians from CCE Tushkart Loch Gorman. It's great to have Nancy Shields with us here today. Nancy is going to share with us the beautiful traditional song, The Tom Haggard Martyr, written by Nick Kinsless Sr. from Kilmore.
At Christmas time, long, long ago, I heard old people say, when tyrant rule was at its worst, and Cromwell's men held sway, a valiant priest laid down his life for faith and fatherland, in a place known as Tom Haggard, not far from Lingstown Strand. The year was 1655, when priests were hunted down and murdered without mercy wherever they were found. As Father Nicholas Mailer called upon his faithful flock to assist him offer holy mass upon the old Mass rock. It was early Christmas morning, to a first knock they were bound. The bright stars twinkled overhead as they knelt upon the ground, not fearing any danger that might have come their way. They had a duty to perform, as this was Christmas Day. The Mass was almost ended, and all prepared to go, to reach their homes before the dawn, and so out with the foe. As Father Mailer raised his hand, his final words to pray, God bless and keep you in his care on this grand Christmas Day. 'Twas then a warning voice was heard, there's movement in the glen. Prepare to flee and save yourselves, I fear 'tis Cromwell's men. Please save the chalice, cried the priest, before you go away. Please save it from those violent men, you'll need it yet someday. Brave Mrs. Lambert volunteered, the chalice she would shield. She wrapped it in her apron white, to them she would not yield. And then the musket shot rang out, that filled each heart with fear. Their noble priest lay on the ground, no more his voice they'd hear. They laid him in the old churchyard, where pilgrims come and go, to the holy wells of Anne and James, where healing waters flow. The Mailer chalice in the church is there for all to see, to cherish with a burning love for all eternity.
And now we're going to have the final piece from the Kilmacree Singing Club children, Nollaig na Man, Little Christmas. Thanks to Molly Tobin from CC Tushkatlock Gorman, who has played beautiful harp music throughout the show. And finally, we will have Jimmy Cullen play us out with the tune Let It Snow.
The 6th of January, or the Feast of the Epiphany, celebrates the arrival of the three kings or wise men at the crib. It is the final day of Christmas in Ireland and is time when all seasonal decorations have to be taken down. This day is also known as Little Christmas in Ireland. In Irish, Nollaig Man means Women's Christmas. Traditionally, the woman of the house was given a day off. This is a description from an elderly lady who recalls her childhood experience of Nollaig Man, probably around the 1940s in Ireland. My mother was the eldest female of her family, so her sisters-in-law, aunts and mother came around on that day and a smaller, daintier version of the Christmas meal was served. On the menu were a bird, usually a fine roast chicken, a smaller, lighter plum pudding and a lovely cake, usually dressed up in the fanciest of pink wrappers with silver sprinkles everywhere on the pink and white icing. The most delicate of my mother's tea sets were brought out, my own favourite, the lavender and pale green set. Gifts were exchanged, usually the most feminine of presents, perfume or talc, and the fun would begin. I was encouraged by the grandmothers and great-aunts to always give my mother a little gift on that day, and I did, from a very early age. I would buy something small in Woolworths on Patrick Street, a little comb, or my personal favourite, those fiercely aromatic bath cubes, which were a whole 3 pence each. I would wrap it up in layers and layers of newspaper, and it was always exclaimed over with the phrase, "Well, now I can hardly wait to use this." The coal fire would be stacked up high and already lit in the front room before anyone arrived, with board Nimona briquettes piled on the fender round it, and any male showing his face would be banished to some other spot in the house. They would judge up old musical numbers and sing a few bars, while one or two got up and showed off their dancing legs. Stories were told, and they would get caught up in all the doings they might have missed. But most of all, I remember the peals of laughter, which resounded throughout the house all day and evening. Nollaig na Man, how I remember it.
Gur míle maithagh asachta bheith ag éisteachlann. Thank you all for listening to Nollaig nGuaire radio programme. Thank you to all who participated, and thank you to Kilmacree Media School and Wexford County Council for supporting us. A special thanks to Shane Dixon and Emily Forrestal. We wish you all a very Merry Christmas! Nollaig Shona agus slán go fóill.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but that fire is so delightful. But since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. And it doesn't show signs of stopping, and I've bought me some corn for popping. The lights are turned way down low. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. And when we finally kiss goodnight, how I'll hate going out in the storm. And if you really hold me tight, now all the way home I'll be warm. Oh, that fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbying. As long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. And when we finally kiss goodnight, how I'll hate going out in the storm. But if you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. Oh, that fire is slowly dying, but my dear, we're still goodbying. As long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.